Okay. Wake up. Anybody here? Good morning. A Thursday stream, unusual in recent times. Corn and gummy, it's just you and me. Maybe everybody else was here yesterday, they forgot about the announcement, who knows. I'm feeling refreshed, but I'm also tired. I'm tired. I don't know why. It's hot out there. Yeah, I had a really nice time. Really nice time. Got a ton of stuff done and a ton of relaxation. Cleaned up a lot on the river, trimming brush and all that kind of stuff. There's been nobody taking care of that area for years and years. So there was a mountain, well there still is, I didn't get much done, but it's a mountain of maintenance. Fixed the electrical problem, the basement workshop. The power had gone out in one part of the room. The girls had been in the dark in the evenings. They asked me to fix it, and it turned out, it was quite a job yesterday to find the problem. But it turned out that some of the wiring I had done back in 2002 or so, when I first bought the house and built my workshop, some of the wiring is corroded. Some of the joints are corroded. That's what you get when you build a workshop next to a river and they don't use it for 5 years. We had a real good time. Saw my friends, the kingfishers. There's a pair of kingfishers there. I don't know how long they live. Is it the same pair that I used to know when I lived there, or are these offspring or something? I don't know. How long does a kingfisher live? Beautiful birds. I was just sitting in the river, hunched down the water. They didn't notice me, so they flew by like a jet flyby. So who's here this morning? Yeah, paper's out. Just one pack this morning. It'll be a light session up there. Just Suga-san is here this morning, not Dei-chan and not Ishikawa-san. Not having been here for a couple of days, I don't quite know the exact ins and outs of the schedule, but that's what it says on the board up there. So. I got here this morning and there's sticky notes all over everything. The whole schedule there has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 sticky notes on it. Dave, do this, do that, do this. What's the answer to this? 2 days off. So what's the schedule for today here? You can see the work, just chipping away at this one. Cameron will, I believe, be here partway along. He sent me an email last night. He wanted to set up this morning to do some filming here. He's got a new project, we've talked about it off and on, and part of that project involves trying to be able to find a way to answer a lot of the questions that people keep sending us about our workspace and stuff. Like any number of times we'll get an email saying, Dave, can you measure your carving bench for me? Or Dave, can you have Suga-san measure her printing bench and stuff like this? And we've, in general, avoided answering those things because, what's my body measurement got to do with somebody else out there who who wants to do this. And anybody who is asking for us to measure our tools before they can get started, they're looking at it the wrong way. You know? Before you go out and build your own specialized custom workbench, you should try this for a while and make sure you like it and see what kind of posture you're going to sit at and stuff like this. You can't just take numbers from what I'm doing here or what Suga-san is doing here and expect it to apply to your own situation. So we don't generally take the time and trouble to answer those questions like that, measure and up all our benches and stuff like this. But it is clear that there's interest in how these things are built and how we work and in our working environment. So as part of Cameron Sand's new video project that he's got going, this is one of the things he'll be working on. So he had suggested that he come and shoot me this morning doing this. And I demurred. If we're going to show people a classical working environment, we want to do it in a clean and simple way without the microscope in the way, without the computer in the way, and stuff like that. So I told him I'd like to set up set up a time and place for it instead of kind of piggyback on this stream. Let's do it properly. And so I think this morning I'll just be at the normal time today. You missed good ones 2 or 3 minutes before the stream started today. I was just getting the stuff all set up, and I wasn't quick enough to catch it. A woman walking by with her dog, and the dog took a good long pee on our Mokohankan cone out there. So our cone has been watered this morning. Well, it's got the kingfishers. I don't know. We just call them kawasami. We call them kingfishers. I don't know. I don't know. I'm sorry. They are cool. They are really, really cool. They're beautiful, electric blue color. They're just gorgeous. They're so fast. Zoom. They really don't like people. So it could be the same one. I've been out there 5 years, so it's. Okay, let's trim a bit more of this off and then carve this. We've got looks like we've got 2 columns left to this lettering here. There's a dot here that I don't think is part of the calligraphy, you know. I think that character just comes up. It's cool. I don't think that dot's part of the calligraphy. I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to leave it for now because it's easier to cut it out later after confirmation than it is to try and fix it. So I think we have a black dot on the block here that probably isn't to be carved, but I'm going to carve it anyway. And after I get a chance to talk to somebody later who knows about the calligraphy, we will almost certainly end up taking this off because I think this is just a speck on the original print there. They've carved specks. It's the way mistakes get into blocks, you know, the carver's not sure about something, so he carves it, and nobody else notices it, so away you go. I've got a book at home. It's not about Japanese printmaking. It's about the printing printmaking in the West in like the 1400s, 1500s and stuff. Talking about the engravers, the wood engravers and their reproductive work, making wood blocks for printing books and stuff. And there's a great example in there of an illustration that's in some old book. And this would be whatever, 1400s or 1500s or something. There's an illustration in there, and I can't remember even what the illustration is about right now, but it's a thing that the picture had some lettering and stuff here and there inside it. And some of the lettering is actually instructions, so that the carver has gone ahead and carved everything that he was given on this wood block. But some of it was instructions, and it said like, leave this part, chop this off, whatever. And in his busyness to just carve everything that he saw in this reversed block on the table in front of him, he carved the instructions as well. And I think we see this every now and then, for example, in a newspaper. You might get a newspaper published and it says, headline goes here later, or stuff like this, you know, and it just got overlooked in the process and things like that. And this example of that old carver in whatever it was, 1450, carving the thing that said, leave this out, or whatever, you know. It's an example of the total separation between the people who design and create the work and then the people who actually physically produce it, you know. And in a sense, that's what I've just done right here. I've carved that black little dot, and I suspect it shouldn't be there. But hopefully, if I remember, we'll try and take care of it before we get to the publication stage. If we don't, then there it'll be. It'll be just an example of Dave's screw-up, that's all. I tuned in too much, I know, for me to follow, I'm sorry. We have a show and tell this morning. While I was away for a couple of days, a couple of packages came in. And one I'm really quite interested to open because it could be a treasure, it could be junk. It's one of those things I just don't know yet. We bought it not sight unseen, but only thing we had a chance to check were some very poor quality photographs. So it wasn't too much money, so it was a gamble. But it could be some very, very early Takamizawa reproductions. And I mean early, like as in over 100 years old. Or it could be printed junk. We're not really quite sure. So we'll take a look at that box once Cameron gets here at the end of the street today. Maybe Dave has a good answer. To what? I'm sorry. The scraper versus sandpaper versus plane question. Yeah, that's it's now an open question. I know. The classical era here was only planes. Things like sandpapers and stuff never ever touched the wood. It was all planing all through the early years with me here when I was making the poet series. The blocks I got came from planing, never ever sandpaper. They didn't explain why or what they were doing. All I could think about was that the plane was the tool they had, which made a perfectly smooth surface. You've seen videos of the Japanese craftsmen all over the internet with their planes, right? Pulling up these super fine, thin sheets. So the idea is a board that's planed. Once you cut it, it's got an absolutely top, flat, smooth surface. Whereas if you had sanded it, what you're really doing is using small boulders and scraping it, leaving a fuzzy surface. Water goes inside, the lines swell. That's the classical answer. But these days, this one I'm using right now, this came from Matsumura-san about whatever, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. I don't know, it's been around here for a while. And he sands. His finish, he's planing and dressing, and then his finishing is with sandpaper. 800 grit, 1200 grit, 2400 grit, 3600 grit, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And his final one is sanding underwater. He uses, it's a machine that sprays water and sands with really fine sandpaper. And then they dry it and then do it again and dry it and do it again. I don't know the exact step by step by step. So this block I'm carving was actually sanded. For our own experiments up here, we are not sanding. We are planing first in a planer, which leaves marks. And then, as we've talked about before, we send it out to this guy who's got a machine which sort of imitates the planing, where a plane scrapes across it. So the wood blocks we're using for the most part for our own work are planed. But it's an open question. If you can plane it, fine. If you can't, sand it. If you're going to not be doing delicate, fine, super hairline work or something like this, it probably doesn't matter. John Amos, if you look at John Amos's blog, Tanuki Prints, he's got a system where he sands, water sands, and I think he buffs. I think he uses a polisher to polish the surface of the block. There's lots of ways to do this these days. So it's no longer a Dave says never touch sandpaper. The block I'm carving right now was almost certainly finished with sandpaper. So yeah, as with all these things, don't really sweat these details too much. Just get some work done. Just get some work done, and the more experience you get, come back and find the answer that works best for you. It's going to be stinky hot here today. I'm sweating already. The air conditioner's on, the door is closed, and I'm still sweating. It is going to be stinky hot. This morning I woke up to 100 cats. I don't know why, but all of a sudden, it must be yesterday afternoon or yesterday evening, something, all of a sudden we got flooded with cat entries. Somebody somewhere must have mentioned it. And it's been going okay. I have a bunch of decent ones, but I really, really would like a bunch more to select from. The problem at the moment, the recent entries, I don't know I haven't seen what's come in overnight, but the recent entries the last few weeks, they really are, this is perhaps, of course, an obvious thing. They really are getting quite repetitive. And I guess that's obvious after we've been doing this for months now. People are coming up, of course, with the same ideas. And if I see another cat clawing down bed sheets, whatever. But people don't know that it's repetitive, of course, because I haven't been posting them online. So I can't complain about that. But yeah, there are a number of very obvious ideas that a lot of people have drawn. There's still a lot of people who are missing the thing that I really thought I had made a bit clear at the beginning. And we've talked about it a lot since. I guess it's still not clear. I know a lot of people what they have done is they have taken a scene, they've drawn a mountain or something happening or a thing, and then plop, they've plopped a cat with its back to the camera or back to the viewer, looking at the scene. So there's a view of a mountain and clearing weather, or a view of boats coming back to harbor, or a view of a moon, or whatever it is. And then plop, there's a cat in there looking at it. And that's not going to be the kind of image that I'm going to be choosing. There has to be a reason for the cat being there. It's not just 8 pictures that happen to have a cat somewhere inside them. It's 8 views of cats. And as a side theme, those other themes have to be present. It's got to be about the cat. I guess I failed to make that. I thought it was obvious. I guess I failed to talk about it. It's 8 views of cats. It's not 8 sceneries. It's got to be about the cat. Why is there a cat there? And then why is it that particular scene? What's the relationship between the two of them? That one's going to need thinning for sure, I think. Well, maybe okay. We'll see. Earthquake, sorry. Lots of conversation. How long have I been working this block? Started in the 1980s. Yeah, right. Ha ha ha. Actually, true in a way, in a sense, of course. What's this? You collected all the Mocha Hong Kong prints and then the next day they were all foxed. It's not your nightmare, it's my nightmare. Yeah, we'll be recarving part of the black here on this block. In fact, I'm going to be using the empty space on this block for that, I think. I don't know what to say about the pace, it's gone really slowly. I'm sorry, it's just, that's the way it is. It's too bad because it gives an impression of this Japanese traditional printmaking work, this carving especially, as being, oh my God, so slow and so detailed and takes years to do and all that kind of stuff. When actually the reverse is true. It's really actually quite fast, efficient work. The years I was working by myself before I had this Mocha Hong Kong thing, I published a print every month from, working out the design, tracing it, whatever, getting all the blocks ready, carving the key block, all the color blocks, then getting paper ready, printing 200 copies of the print, writing a story, getting Japanese worked out for it, packing, shipping, printing, taking to the post office. There was a new print every month, and one year, I think it was 2004, the Tamatebaku year, I did a print a week. Every 2 weeks, sorry, not a week. Every second Saturday was post office day. I took my bicycle to the post office a number of trips with all the boxes on the back. 200 copies, and I published it every 2 weeks. So this really can be effective, quite quick, quite efficient work. And the picture you're getting of it here by looking at these streams is completely the opposite of that. A guy who's moving very slowly here, he's on the same job day after day, week after week, month after month. I'm really sad about that, I'm sorry. We should have the camera up on the grills upstairs. There's a different job up there every day almost. Working out here at the edge of the block. This is now at the far corner of the block. Before, when I worked in the middle of the block, I could rotate, and the block basically stays in the middle of my bench. But now that I'm out on a far corner, every time I rotate, the block is now over the limits. It's off the edge of the bench at each side. I keep banging into the camera. This cloth. Actually, normally when I think about if I was watching on all the older carvers, whatever, Ito-san or Asuka-san, they've got a cloth that's actually a bit larger than whatever block it is that they're using. So the cloth seems to spread out wider than the block. The block sits in the middle of the cloth, and as you rotate, the whole thing rotates. I guess my cloth is a bit too sticky. It's not actually smooth enough to rotate now. So if I was more careful, yeah, I guess so. Whereas my block is sliding on the cloth, and the cloth is not sliding well on the table. So. See there, so the wood slides on the cloth. It's actually, what I've done is, on the back of the wood, I've got a piece of paper pasted on to protect. This is one of the carved surfaces. It looks like the background block. So to avoid it getting scratched, I've taped a piece of paper on. That paper's quite slippery. So it's slipping on the cloth, which is sticking on the blocks on the bench. So yeah, it's not the optimum way to do this. Missing most of this. I'm sorry, guys. Excuse me. I move the block way, way, way more than the old guys did. Absolutely. We talked about this before. Again, there's different levels of the work. Because I'm sort of a duffer at this, because I'm a part-time carver, as it were, I tend to carve at the same angle all the time. There's a certain angle and cut that's under my nose that I get good at. I'm not so good at the over-the-hand angle. The classical carvers were trained at doing it all. They would be, trained to carve over their hand, under their hand, around and around. So because they had more flexibility in their wrists, there was less rotation of the block. You could put the block there and carve the top and the side and the bottom without rotating it. It was super efficient. Look how much time I take. I rotate the block, try and find the spot, come back. If I do it too much, I'm spending half the time or whatever rotating instead of cutting. So in the old days, when it was real production days, as much as possible, they didn't rotate the block. There was other reasons for it too. If the block hasn't been rotated, the lines are cut at a certain angle, it gets easier to print and stuff. There's more technical details too. But I guess mostly it was just simply time and money. They would avoid rotating the block. I don't know. I know we've got that video in the can of watching Ito-san work. I was bothering him with questions and stuff, but a lot of it was we just sat back and let him carve. So it would be interesting to analyze that. He's carving some lettering just to see how far or how often he moved the block. But also he knows that a TV camera is watching, so because of his pride, he may have thought, I'm not going to move this block at all while they're watching here. I don't know. It's hard to tell. But in general, yes, they moved much less than I do, absolutely. What's the question about the left-handed, right-handed knives? So no, this is a right-handed blade. Can we see the structure of it here? There it is. There's the structure. It's a right-handed blade that's the flat side under my finger, and this is the beveled side on top. On the classical technique, a right-handed carver uses it with the flat side on the line. I'm a left, he's doing it over the back of his hand. It's not under his nose, it's over the back of his hand here. I'm a lefty using a right-handed knife. I'll just transfer hands here. And I'm cutting exactly the same way. Good morning, Cameron-san. I'm cutting exactly the same way, but now it's in the front of my hand, under my nose, instead of over the back of my hand. So that's the deal about why a lefty like me uses a right-handed knife. If you're carving in the traditional way over the back of your hand, a right-hander would use a right-handed knife, flat side on the line. Good morning, Cameron-san. Cameron-san. Train crowded?
Yeah.
Hot, yeah. Move the camera up here. So I get the junk out of the way there, excuse me. It's because I'm at the corner of the block now,
Right.
So I have to rotate right around.
Really wide.
Yeah. Okay, I've got that. Can you turn those, whatever, heat sink, whatever you want to call it. I think it's new faces. This is Cameron-san, assistant here, staff at Local Home.
How was your weekend? Week middle?
I had a great time.
Good.
It was a bit of email back and forth with you.
Yeah.
I did my stuff. And mostly I just sat in the river and I got started on the writing project.
Cool.
Actually, it went, I think, it's first draft stuff, so it's really well. I got more than 10,000 words done. But the problem is it wasn't what I planned to write.
Well,
I had a certain plan. Let's start this project. Let's get the thing laid out chapter by chapter, get the thing that you want to say, get it all worked out.
Yep.
And even if that's all you get done in the first few days, that's okay. But I forgot, I want to keep away from the computer.
Oh, yeah.
So I had a little spiral ring-bound notebook, which was in my backpack. But it's not in my backpack. It's on the floor upstairs.
Oh, no.
Which says, it was the reminder. So do I have a notebook of some kind? So I go to the bookshelves the sort of essay corner where I used to write stuff. There's some notebooks because we're the Solitudes books.
Right.
When I did the notes for the Solitudes books, there's no computer. I just sat outside in the countryside, writing.
Yeah.
So I grabbed one of those books looking for some empty pages, whatever. And I get to a page and it's, what's that say? It says F, 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 all circled, F, 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 a list of stuff, all with a giant, like I must have been explaining something to somebody and gestured and did stuff on the paper to explain it. And I figured out what it was. It's a list of about 10 or 12 things. Excuse me for the diversion. It's a list of about 10 or 12 things, entries in my life. And then I must have explained each one to the person I was talking to, and then put a big F with a line, fail. And I remembered, after seeing it, I remembered the conversation. One of the times when my daughter, Humi-chan, when she came over to visit me one summer, she'd have been maybe just out of college. She went to Vietnam to try and do some buying. She had an idea to design stuff in Canada, have it built overseas, do business in Canada, whatever. So she'd been to Vietnam, blah, 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 and it was a disaster. The stuff they had sent her was a disaster.
Just terrible.
So she'd visit me, oh, Dad, my business venture is a failure. I'm 24 years old. My life is at an end. What am I going to do? You know, whatever. This kind of a conversation. And I remember just laughing in her face because she, at that time, she thought of her dad as being this, oh my God, your dad. She's still young, so her dad was still God.
Big success.
Yeah, whatever. So I just grabbed this paper and I remembered, look, here's, you think blah, blah, blah. Nope, total fail. Blah, blah. And I listed it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, or 10 things on this paper.
Yeah.
All of which
Didn't work out,
failed. And I was 29 years old before I finally started this one that turned out not to be a failure.
Yep.
So it's a pep talk of Dad to his daughter when she would have been about 29 or something, or 20 something or whatever. Yeah. So seeing that, of course, I got, the mystery story, trying to figure out what it is. And then, okay, didn't this? So I sat down and started to write something, and whoops, away we go.
After my solitudes comes my failures.
No, before. Get your order right here. Get your order right. So it turned out, and you're going to laugh at this, whatever. A person at age 29 had failed in everything he had tried to do, almost literally everything he had tried to do. But the David at that time didn't know this.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you mean I didn't know this? Didn't I fail at them all? Well, I didn't fail. I thought, oh, that looks interesting. And I went over to do some other shiny thing. And the thing I had been doing just sort of sat there for a while, and looking at it later, there you go. It was started and not done. It was a failure. But at the time, I didn't know this. It was just, try this. Oh, yeah. Oh, I want to do that. Oh, I want to do that. I want to do that. I want to do that. So I didn't know I was a failure, but I had leaving behind me this trail of destruction and abandoned stuff and crap and partly finished things and failure.
Yeah.
It's like if you go to college and you only go for 8 months and you don't go back again and you do something else, by most of the world, that's called a failure. It's called a dropout, But I didn't know that, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, long story short, I ended up writing 10,000 words, and I discovered the meaning of life.
Nice.
I got it all. I know. Got it all worked out. Yeah. Got it all worked out.
Well, that was quick.
And it's easy. People, there's probably a library of books about philosophy and stuff, and there's like 500,000 books in there, and they're all 50 inches thick or whatever about life and philosophy. No, I got it in 10,000 words. It's okay. Actually, it doesn't need a lot. We'll talk about it later. Whatever. Anytime you need to know, Cameron, just
cool.
Come to me. I've got the answer for you.
What was that book we were referencing last week? The airplane mechanic book.
Oh my God, what have I done?
What have you done?
What is that? Let's talk about printmaking.
Yeah, let's talk about printmaking. Someone said, it took me 10 minutes to persuade the supplier in Tagaleo Printing to sell me the wrong knife. They're going to cut or carve the way you are. Said, I'm a right-handed person, and I took 10 minutes to convince them to sell me a left-handed blade.
Soka. Yeah. But again, you may be worrying about this too much. This is critical for me if you're carving super delicate, fine lines in super hard wood. If you're just exploring at the beginning, you're carving, not so delicate work, just doing maybe, some people do prints with just color masses with no fine lines and stuff. For those things, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The reason the whole world got on the wrong track was Toshi Yoshida published a book about this, because he showed how he used a right-handed knife as a right-handed person carving in front of his nose. The bevel was on the retained wood, and he put in his book, this is how you do it with pictures and everything. And it didn't matter because they were only covering plywood, rough color shapes. It didn't make any difference. In that time of life, he was doing that funny, abstract, bizarre stuff anyway. So it didn't make any difference. So don't sweat this. Good morning. So again, if you go into them asking, I want my money back and stuff like this, I would just do whatever. Just cut some stuff and play with it and work it out, you know. My particular circumstance is a bit unusual. We're trying to carve in the same way as the old guys carve, and yet I'm left-handed and untrained, you know. That should be on your list for this series, you know, Cameron. Get Asuka Sensei here. I'll go over to his place. Right-handed carver. Talk about this stuff. Flat side on the line. And for once and for all, put a video up that just shows what's going on here.
Yeah.
And I can't do that video myself because I'm left-handed. You know?
Bring these over to the...
Yeah, the clothes are on later on. The girls take them. Okay. They go to the kakigoi, but nobody's there yet. So. It's going to be a crazy day today to show. We're sold out of parties, totally sold out, booked up today and again tomorrow. What's happening? It's supposed to be August.
Yeah.
Nobody's supposed to be in town.
Gruff Art says, I just got my very first woodblock print from Okahankan yesterday in the mail. Hokusai's Whirlpool is the one we showed on the stream, I think. Which I absolutely love.
Okay.
Yeah.
We didn't make that, you know, of course. That's from our antique corner, the flea market, yeah, it's a cool print.
Says, I noticed the color of the paper is a light tannish brown on the outside around the border lines, but the highlights of the waves seem to be a lighter color than that. The print is from the early Showa era. My question is, was that intentionally done, or was it the color of the paper used back then?
No, it's the same here. These are more of the same ones, right, Michelle?
Yeah.
I'm guessing what you're looking at, it's your eyes fooling you. We've got the same thing here. We see this all the time with people. It's the same thing here. We've got a print here. It's from that same series, that Whirlpools one. We were showing the Fuji Arts thing about that. You know? The paper in the middle of this wave is the bare paper. The paper on the mountain is the bare paper. The paper is the bare paper, the bare paper. But it looks different in different areas depending on what's surrounding it. The paper up here looks, I don't know if you see it in the camera, whatever, we're seeing it in natural life. It's a sort of a toned paper. This is 50, 60, 70 years old. So the paper has developed a toning. But when you see some specific area that is surrounded by darker color, it looks whiter. And it's fooling, it's your brain that's getting fooled here.
Look at them close to each other there.
Yeah, the closer you get, you can follow the area and you can just see that it's the same thing, you know. But having said that, there are some places, this mountain actually, there is a gray tone on it. So that's different. This is untouched paper. This is paper that has been flattened by a tone here.
Very light.
Yeah, and it might even be a just basic paste with nothing else in it to give it a difference. So yeah, just it's sometimes here you can see it at the edge here. This is exactly the same paper. And here it looks the same, but if you follow it around here, all of a sudden, whoop, up here it starts to look whiter, because it's surrounded by darker stuff. We see this in our work all the time, all the time, all the time.
Optical illusion.
Sort of, yeah. So.
Don't trust your brain.
That reminds me, Cameron, we do have a show and tell today. I haven't opened it yet. It's something that I
Mystery
bought.
show and tell.
Well, I know what it's supposed to be, and I bought it sight unseen, just from JPEGs, but whatever, we'll talk about it when we open it. But it could be a real nice treasure, or it could be, oh, well, too bad. Better luck next time.
Yeah.
And it was within the, what we call the Benkyō budget.
Okay.
If it turns out great, if it doesn't.
Yeah.
And I should be careful, well, I am being careful of the auctions because we're cash again short this month compared to, because of the low June and July figures.
Rod says, Cameron, I don't recall seeing this wave print online. Is it new to the store? It's just a flea market print. It's not online at the moment, and it probably won't be in the store much longer.
If you want, we can show it and talk about it. Whatever. So it's a semi-famous hoax I print. It predates the famous Great Wave.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a colorized version. The Hokusai original was black and white.
Oh, okay.
Like shades of grey.
Is that just poorly registered?
Yeah, look at those
on
birds.
birds?
See the birds?
Yeah. Okay, I wasn't sure if that was an artistic decision.
No, it's bad production. So.
Okay. Interesting. Good design though. Look out, leads.
Thanks.
Pete says your sea monkeys are about to mutilate.
Yeah, I got to clean that. I know it's on my list of things to do. So. And if you want to do that filming, we've got to do that. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, you suggested last night. There's no way I want to do that like under these circumstances.
Yeah.
Earthquake.
The volcano erupted last night.
Huh?
Between Nagano and Gunma, there's Asamayama. It's erupted just a little bit,
Really?
apparently. But smoke and fire.
Really? What, a previously dormant one, or? I haven't seen
No, it sounds like it erupted back in 2015 too. So not long ago, I guess.
I was curious yesterday if there was some big news out in the world or something, because the YouTube views dropped like crazy, just around noon yesterday.
Huh.
In fact, they flatlined on Ito-san's video. YouTube views have flatlined from noon yesterday. And I'm semi-panicking.
Yeah.
It's just
You didn't get another one up in 5 days. YouTube abandons you. /Lim says, I'm looking for that write-up of yours. It must have been quite old from when young Dave hadn't yet settled into a carving style, or perhaps I had simply misread it. Do you know what this person might be asking
What are we
about?
talking about?
Not sure.
Carving techniques?
Oh, he mentioned it a little bit. A while ago I came across an old write-up you had done about the importance of knife-handedness, and so being left-handed as well, I followed your advice in the write-up and got myself a left-handed knife. Though when I began carving with it and trying to imitate how I saw you carve, I noticed that the angled edge was on the opposite side of the blade. I'm curious if you use the right-handed blade now. Oh, okay, so this was the source of the conversation, I think. But do you know where that write-up about handedness might have...
Well, there's one I in the old Baron Forum days, any number of times I talked about it there, and that's in their archives.
Okay.
I put a page about it in my book, the YFP, your first print book.
Yeah.
We've talked about it here any number of times. I don't think we've done like a blog post about it. I don't remember, I'm sorry. It's in our book. But the basic rule, whatever you're talking about, lefts or rights or ins or outs, the basic rule is flat side of the blade on the wood to be retained. That's the key point. Everything else is irrelevant. Right now I'm carving, the flat side is not on the wood to be retained, but the wood is moving. The wood is free to escape out into the outside world.
Yeah.
So if the wood's not free, like this next cut, the flat side has to switch to being against the wood to be retained.
Hmm. Got two people saying they want that reverse wave hint. Well, I can send an invoice if you're interested. Says it's 9,000 yen.
There's probably another one coming next week, Cameron-chan.
Okay.
A few days ago on an open Yahoo auction, I bought the same set again.
Oh wow!
But I haven't seen the condition yet. It could be foxed, it could be whatever. So we may have a second copy of that in a few days, but I won't know until it comes.
Okay.
So if you've got somebody fighting about it, just ask them to stand in line or something. How much is it?
It says 9,000.
Yeah.
Correction, the bidding starts at 9,000. Thanks, John Becker.
We don't do it that way, though. We don't do it like that. Or you can go over to Fuji Arts and buy it for $400.
Yeah. The choice is yours.
Well, this is somebody from Fuji Arts here on our chat buying it from us at $90 and selling it over there at $400.
Oh, that would be funny. Are we planning on expanding the online flea market? Sometimes. We do,
Yes,
and then
we keep trying to, yes, I know.
it runs out of stock again very quickly. But Kira's in today. Maybe we can ask for some scanning, or maybe you have another project.
Well, the problem, of course, the computer, I have to move that computer back to your room, I guess.
yeah.
I'm actually, it turns out that I'm really not moving it. So. Actually, you could maybe do that with her. The computer moment, it's shut down. It's not sleeping, it's turned off.
It's off.
So you can actually do it, unplug it, take it over there.
We'll do that.
Boot it back up for her.
Sounds good.
The thing is, there's no, there is, there's CS4 running.
Yep.
So it's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah.
It's got that.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking I was going to be actually trying to switch back to an older way of working, but it's not happening.
You like your laptop?
Yeah, I like a laptop. So,
Makes sense.
so yeah, okay, take it away.
Okay.
In the shop today, it's a Hosono-san and Teiko-san. We have busy parties, so I'll be here with them. And then Anna Marcelo is coming.
Oh, that's right. So she needs...
So we'll cover the shop. Kira can do a floater if we need her down
Okay.
here. If not, then she can set up that computer up there and go for it.
Scan and update. Okay. And I'll be doing some videos with Suga-san.
Yeah, don't forget the bookkeeping and stuff there.
Yep.
I think Ome is a full schedule today.
Yeah. Yes. Friday, no one's in, so today is the last day before the weekend.
For shipping, so okay.
Yeah. Saint Kitten says, I found you just a few days ago from the Ito Susumu video. I then proceeded to watch all of your Great Wave videos. Work is play. Plan to buy some prints as soon as I can. Cool. Thank you for the support.
It's going to be hot today.
It's going to be a hot one, yeah.
You just want to go back out to that river, you know.
Yeah. Was it a bit cooler up there too?
Yeah, well, in the river it was.
Yeah.
You know, so walking through town, you know, but at one point I was sitting there in the water. I was trying to hunker down because it was so hot. So you know, the river's not so deep. You can't actually swim in there.
Right.
But it's a part where it's about, if I sit normally, it's up to my waist. Because to hunker down and lie down, you get your body under it.
Nice.
And I was there and just relaxing. All of a sudden, there's this shoo, shoo, and two kingfishers, a pair of kingfishers, just like they were less than a meter above my head, just shoot. And they must have, you know, when they see humans, they fly away.
Yeah.
They don't go anywhere near humans. But obviously, I was under the water, and by the time they got to me, they were doing their jet thing, and there's no way they could do a voice. So it's just like, oh shit, oh, there we go. So, but they just went zoom, zoom.
here.
Yeah, but too late. So.
That's funny.
And I have no idea if it's the same kingfishers that would have been there when I was there years ago. How long they lived? We asked this in the stream earlier. Somebody said like 21 years or so they can live. Or so.
Yeah.
In the wild, I would doubt it would be that long. But yeah, it could be the same ones. Maybe they're, oh my God, he's back. What are we going to do? You know, oh, no, he didn't bother us. Relax. You know, you can imagine their conversation.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the woman applying makeup print in the flea market by Goyo? We have one in the flea market right now. I think it's the smaller one. Or is it the bigger one?
Oh, the one with the smartphone, you mean?
Yes, the one with the smartphone.
I'm not sure what to say. This is one of those prints, the reproductions that were made in the 1980s in the bubble time. Two competing companies made versions, Yu Yudo and Tansei Shop. They're not hugely rare, but they're a total different kind of price level than the normal ukiyo-e reproductions. This is not ukiyo-e, it's shinhanga. Vastly more number of colors.
I think it must be the Tansei version that's online.
I don't remember. I'm sorry. They're pretty much identical.
But isn't one larger than the other? Or am I
So these are the one that's online is the same size as that.
Oh, okay.
We don't have the large one at the moment for sale.
Oh.
wish they weren't so expensive, but once they're out, their bidding just goes up and up and up and up because they're so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I got my own copies years ago before the prices all went nuts.
Maple Syrup Monster says, hello, Dave and Cameron. Recently stumbled upon some recordings of you on YouTube. I was so fascinated and in awe with your work that I showed it to my girlfriend, and she pointed out you're on Twitch. Thank you for all the amazing things you create. Cheers from Canada.
With a username like that.
Yeah. How couldn't you be from Canada? 1421 Ian says, Kingfisher info. Only about half survive more than a week or two. Very few birds live longer than one breeding season. The oldest kingfisher on record was 21 years of age. Interesting.
Oh, I see, okay.
So they can live long, but they usually do not.
The pair that I'm seeing is a refreshed pair every year then? Because it's usually just two of them. When I was living there, I saw them, daily.
Yeah.
And they seemed, they're sort of nesting area. What I would see them out, come out to hunt, and then sometimes go back flapping a fish in their beak. So they were always going to the right and then going to the left if they had a fish. So their nesting thing would have been somewhere to the left of where I was, down the river that way, up the river. Which makes sense because away from where the houses were. Then they came down to our area. There's lots of houses, but there's also lots of deep pools, fish in, overhanging branches. Perfect stuff for kingfishers to do their job. But I know, of course, they all look the same to me. So what I was surprised was I always seem to see them in pairs, two, and yet they're the same color. And I always thought that birds like this, like the guy was electric blue, the flashy one, and the female bird was sort of a dull color, whatever.
Brown, gray.
So either this is two guys that just are doing the hunting and taking the fish back to the ranch, or it's a couple and they're both the same color. I don't know.
It's 9:15, show and tell.
Oh, you better, because it might take time. Okay. 9:15 already?
Yeah.
Crap. You were late, weren't you?
I was a bit later than usual. Okay. I got to sit on a slow train.
There's a box somewhere.
This one?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Maybe it's an LGBT kingfisher, that's what they say. The kingfisher, maybe it is two males.
A gay couple, yeah. So I guess that coloration plan depends on the way that they do their mating, right? If it's one of these things where the guy has to dance and show off and stuff, then it's usually the guy flashier colors and the girl not, right?
Yeah.
But if they don't mate that way, then there's no reason to be different. Man, that color is fabulous. They're just a beautiful blue. You see them in the sunshine. It's an electric.
Yeah.
And then they get wet. They dive in and there's this splash and they got this wet skin and electric blue. And on Sunday morning, are you ready for today? Have you seen it? It's going to be a busy day.
And Shiba-san is coming too, right? Am I missing her?
I don't think so. I think she's on tomorrow's staff. Today it's Hosono-san and Teiko-san. And Marcelo and me. I believe. Marcelo? I don't remember. Again, what we have here, the other day there was a couple of interesting auctions. It was a junk dealer who got the stuff. His other auctions were stuff like just whatever, old furniture, tea bowls, this and that, old clothes. So it wasn't a print dealer. He just stumbled across this stuff, didn't have a clue what it was. And he had split this into 3 different auctions. He had put one auction up for 10 prints from Hokusai's 36 Views of Mount Fuji. And then he put another auction up for 36 more prints from Hokusai's 36 Views of Mount Fuji. So one auction for 10 and one auction for 36, both in the same series. And those of you who know where the story's going, this series actually has 46 prints in it.
Got it.
There were 36 planned, they did 36, they kept going and did 10 more. And the prints I have here are the 10 more. And I also bid on the auction for the full 36, but it went beyond what I could comfortably afford to pay, considering I didn't have a chance to look at it. And then, in addition to that, the same guy put up another pack, which is this pack of some other 6 random prints. And actually, before we even open that, we can see this. There's something really, really strange / interesting about it. They're marked with Takamizawa, 2 different Takamizawa stamps on top of each other. And one of them I'm familiar with, the black square one, and one of them I am not familiar with. And it looks to me, I can't quite read these, but I'm going to ask Doi-san to help me with this. It looks to me like this is some sort of test print stamp, the red one.
Interesting.
I really can't read, I'm sorry, I shouldn't speak out there. So I think this is a Takamizawa proofing run, and then there's the regular black Takamizawa stamp they put on it. So I must have taken a decision to throw it in. Anyway, so we saw these in the auction. There was the print, and this is old stuff. Yeah. Huge, vivid Baron marks. Just let me get to the other ones first. Put those aside for a minute and have a look at the Hokusai 36 views, the after group of 10.
The after group of 10.
Fuji Sanju Rokke. And this is an edition I have never, ever seen before. And it's here. Ura Fuji, the group of 10. It's the 10 later prints.
Yeah.
And nowadays, nobody ever splits them up like this. If somebody's making a set of Mount Fuji prints, they make a set of 46.
Yeah.
But this publisher, and whether this is Takamizawa or not, I don't know, because I haven't seen it. This publisher did it as 2 sets, a set of 36 and a set of 10.
10 bonus.
Yeah, and I really wanted them all, but there's a limit to how much I can throw around / throw away, you know. This is not something we can really sell, so it's money that it's just going in a black hole, you know. Now, how does this open? It's an album, it looks like. Which way does it open? It doesn't open that way. Does it open this way? No. It opens this way. Hey.
Is it the accordion style though?
Yes, it's accordion style, so. Hey. Oh, they're partly mounted, they're partly glued down, but I'll be able to get these off. All right. I was afraid they'd be totally glued down. They've been unfortunately trimmed. All the margins have been trimmed off to glue them down. And I am going to be hunting, is there a Takamizawa mark on the back or not? I don't know. These are old. Don't tell me these are old. This is not like Hokusai's original. These are reproductions. But these are old. I wish now I'd bid more on the other 36. It went like to $700, you know. Yeah. And they're trimmed and they're messed up and they're glued onto backboards. Look at this. What's this? No gradation. What's going on?
Terrible gradation.
So. This is really interesting. These are really old. This is like late Meiji or maybe early Taisho. No idea.
Early 1900s.
Yeah. If I was just going to put a date on
years
it, I'd just, if I had to slap a single date, I'd say 1920 or something like that. And they don't have a Takamizawa mark on the back, but it came from the same guy who had Takamizawa stuff in his collection. These are cool. They're mixed. They're very well physically made. The printing is nice. There's a tiny bit of misregistration here and there. Doesn't quite line up on the mountain. Oh, Teiko-san, good morning. So the sky block doesn't quite fit here. So the hats are a little bit of misregistration. So these are not like perfect, wonderful, prime, oh my God, copies. And look at this, actually it's funny, I said they're trimmed, but they're done in the same way as the old originals. See this, look at this.
Yeah.
We've got gunk from the Kento. So they were made at this trim size, like the old originals.
Yeah.
In modern era, they're always made now with a bit of a more of a margin on the paper. Our own way, for example, it has margins about 5 millimeters each side.
Mm-hmm. So it wasn't actually trimmed after the fact.
No, it was
just made very, very
made
tight.
like this. Yeah.
You think even the top and the sides were?
Well, that's it. You can see right to the edge. It's right there. You can see there's a bit of empty white paper there.
Huh.
They have printed right. They've cut the paper exactly the right size and printed right to the edge of it. We'd never, ever do that nowadays. It's going to come off. Here we are. And do we have anything on the back? No. These are not Takamizawa, or not signed Takamizawa anyway. This is a nice little treasure camera set.
Yeah.
It's not sort of like worth anything big money-wise, but it is really, really interesting. It's rare to find nice prints from that era. They're just, for the most part, mostly just beaten up. I mean, the era here, we're talking about like made in maybe 1920 or something, or 19.
Right.
There's printers working at that time who were working in the old days, you know.
Yeah.
Like when Hokusai's still alive and stuff. That's how close the connection is between the originals and these reproductions. They're not from the original blocks. They're too sharp and clear. It's a reproduction block set. But there is
Smooth colors.
deep, rich. It's like Taisho stuff. You know, they really, really lathered it on.
Yeah.
It's not to some people's taste. The original wasn't done like that.
Okay.
And it's even got, it's got tamari around the edge.
Yeah. Lather.
It's in its own
Too much,
stuff.
but
Good morning. Oh, Kide-san. Hello.
looks like there's no foxing. Wow, I like the bigger prints. I like the colors.
Yeah. No, I'm very happy with this. No foxing. There is some damage. The end one here, the last one. This was in the photographs on the auction. The last one, the album has become. The print is somehow swelled and taken a crease. So if I can get this off, I can flatten that. So again, I'm not sure whether I should actually, take these out of the album here. If I cut the album apart, throw these in water, they will float off, and we can then keep them separately and carefully in a folder. But then we lose the album, we lose the artifact itself. Yes. So. But if we leave it like this, they're just going to decay even more.
Yeah.
Yeah, very nice find. Very nice find.
But still don't know who made it.
Not yet. If we can see enough, maybe Doi-san, he's got older prints, so we can compare the line work with and see. Sharp, clear, beautiful carving.
Is there any, what's it called?
I'm curious about the lack of gradation on this one. Yeah. It's also been lifted and pasted down again. Look at, see the end there? Oh, that's from this one, maybe. Yeah. It's hard to tell. In fact, maybe that blue that you're seeing here is blue that transferred from
that
this one, and there was no gradation at all on this one. And we're seeing blue that has, over
That
time.
makes sense.
That's just one here.
Yeah.
Quite possible.
But it's sat around for 100 years, so not surprised if some pigments moved around.
Yeah, we see it here, right? With that intense blue here. Look at this. See this?
Oh, yeah.
See the area there?
Yep.
There's blue transferred there. So at the very least, we should put spacing sheets in between these things. Where's the one that was off? Yeah. It's not the greatest paper in the world either. Very fragile, very brittle. Look at the barren.
Yeah.
Super power. Super power. I don't know, 6,000 and something, yeah.
Wow, for these 10.
For the 10. But the other set, the 36, went, as I said, over 70,000. So.
Wow.
Kira-san, you look away. It's not for you. Not for you. It's for the collection.
What if I Yes.
It was a full set of 46, and I got 10, but I didn't get the 36. Somebody else bid more for me. And I don't know who made them. I know it appears to be Taisho era. Very brittle, poor quality paper, but nicely done, nicely printed. Nicely mounted in an album. So it looks like an original publisher's album rather than something that a collector would make by himself.
Scrapbook.
And it's the back 10. And it's unusual. These days we don't even separate the back 10. It's a full set of 46.
Yeah.
But back then there was an album of the 36 and an album of the next 10. So it could be even a publisher that was actually, working at the time Hokusai was still alive and stuff. So we'll see. There's a publisher's name. I don't know it. I don't recognize it. But the Doi-san will have a lot more information than I do.
Okay.
So here we are.
Are you going to show the other
I'm
few
not
or
really
not?
sure because what we've got, I think some of these, the other random pieces by the same auction guy, had one Takamizawa print and then a bunch of, these are not woodblock prints. These are, I think they're not woodblock. I couldn't tell. Let's have a look at these. This was the junk stuff. Like this was, I think, like 1,000 yen or 2,000 yen. Nobody bid on these because this looks like printed junk. Oh, not another one. No more, please, 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 please. This is almost certainly just a package of junk. Let's see. Yeah. This is early era. You can see the screen. This is early era offset printing. This is not a woodblock print. I didn't think it was. Look at this. This is all screen printing. Do you see it, camera-chan? You can see the see inside the pink there. See the little lines back and forth, back and forth.
Huh.
So these are not woodblock prints. You can see it there. Look at that.
Yeah.
See? See the gradation?
Definitely.
And you can see the stripes as the color gradation changes as they change the screen.
Yeah. Huh.
So this is an era, and I have no idea when this is. About the same era as those other prints, but this is not woodblock prints. These are mechanically printed prints in imitation of woodblock.
Yeah, because they even put in this.
Well, they must have photographed
Baron
a print or
marks,
something.
yeah.
It'll be taken from a photograph of a print, but this is not in any way a woodblock print. This is printed matter, flat printed matter, and I don't know how it was done. There's some kind of screen.
Interesting.
And these went for like 1,000 yen because I knew what it was. But in the middle of the package was this one, which is an early era Takamizawa repro with a very, very rare Takamizawa stamp on it. Yeah. So I want for this stuff, not for those other ones.
Interesting.
But the guy who had the auction, he advertised them as woodblock prints. I'm like,
No,
that's
they
not
aren't.
what they are. But it doesn't matter. It's not worth fighting about. I wanted that one.
Yeah.
Can you see it if we zoom in enough? You can see the screen in there, can you? I don't know if we can see it. The screen. Inside the lettering, this dots.
Yeah.
Where else? If we put that sky up again. It's just, I can see it clearly from where I am. Can you see it there?
A little bit.
There's a
I don't know if the screen quality is good enough for the people on the other end, but from here we can see it. Yep. Oh, and out of focus. Back just a little bit more. There.
Cool. If you were there in, whatever, 1910 or whatever this was, and you've got a machine going bang, 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 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a lot faster than the printers could do, and from the consumer's point of view, there's no difference, absolutely. And that's where we are, the machines beat us years ago. But it's funny, the imitation of the Itabogashi, a bit scraggly and strange.
Yeah.
And
there's no black gradation behind Mount Fuji.
Yeah, it's Soka did it in pink.
Yeah, light pink.
Anyway, I guess we had better get out of here. It is working time. Morning.
Streaming.
Yeah, we're streaming. We're on stream. Okay, gang, there we are. We're done for Thursday. This is our first Thursday stream. I know the plan is to continue this pattern during the month of August. September, we'll talk about September when we get there. But through August, it'll be a stream Monday morning, Sunday for you guys, Thursday morning, Wednesday for you guys, and Saturday morning. I'll be here Saturday. Cameron won't be. He's like with his family or stuff, the Americans. I was thinking about that a lot too last couple of days. I'll be here relaxing in the river, and I was thinking, man, this is what weekends must be like for Cameron. I think this is kind of cool. I think I might like to try this. If I rag you too much about that, I'm sorry.
That's
Anyway.
okay.
Okay.
You're getting weekends too.
So I'll see you Saturday morning for me, Friday night for you guys.
Okay.
And I'll put the camera outside or something or whatever.
Yeah.
See how it goes. Thanks for watching. See you
Thanks,
next
everyone.
time. Bye-bye.
See you later.